Hello, agentpreneurs, and welcome to episode 46 of the Daily List Report. Today, I've actually got a familiar guest for you. I've got our co founder and CEO, Ajay Shah, coming on. So I'm actually going to bring Ajay on right away. Ajay, why don't you
Hey,
say
Randy,
hello?
and hello, agentpreneurs. How are you this morning?
Good. That's great to see you, AJ. So, I think what we need to do to kick off this show is talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. We've had obviously a pretty challenging few months, right? I think most people would tell you that they're ready for 2020 to be over. This weekend, though, in particular, we saw a lot of activity around protests and some rioting and looting, and it's a complicated situation, frankly. And so I thought maybe we could just spend a couple minutes as we kick off this show and talk a little bit about that. So, AJ, why don't you just weigh in a little bit on some of your thoughts about what's happening right now?
Yeah, it's a very, very sad time in America. I think that's true. And it's every week that when incidents like this happen, I'm reminded just how far we have to go as a country to progress. That there is tremendous inequality, injustice that still exists in this society. Um, I was thinking about it because every Friday, as you know, Randy, we report our what we call our 15 fives, or
Yes.
our internal report to the company about how we're feeling, and uh, we have a 5 point scale. So on Friday, I put myself at a one. Everything's going great in terms of the company, but I'm just looking at the world and the country that I love so much, and it's very, very disappointing. It's disheartening where we are right now at this point in time. I think, I am an optimist, though. I'm a deep optimist and believe that wherever we're at, times can always get better. But it's just outrageous what's going on, and I know that amongst our agent base, we have pretty much every race and ethnicity represented,
Every
and
state, every major
uh,
market, everything.
real estate in particular. One of the things that we're very fond of, Randy, that we talk about proudly, is the fact that this is an industry that supports, broad diversity, right, and
Yes.
empowers minorities, African Americans, and others to have an opportunity to be entrepreneurs and to step up. So, over the weekend, I was just recommitting to doing whatever we can in this company to make sure that, in our small way, that we're doing our part, that we're representing ourselves ethically and with good moral character, and providing vision, and then hopefully providing tools for everybody to be more successful in their own lives and their own communities. Randy, you and I share a philosophy that home ownership is a way to create the opposite of disenfranchisement, right?
Yes.
Enfranchisement of people, and so we're committed to this cause, and hopefully the country heals, and hopefully we find the leadership that we need in order to move move things forward.
Yeah.
But we're not there today, that's for sure.
No, we're not. And I think, what I took some time to do this weekend with my kids in particular was to try to put this in some context and have a discussion about it, right? It's interesting, AJ, in talking to neighbors or friends, right? There's a reaction certainly to, burning of buildings and looting and rioting and things like that. But it kind of misses the point, right? I think this is an opportunity for deep reflection and deep thought because, even in some of the conversations that I had, some of these biases come through in seemingly innocent ways, right? And I think everybody needs to sort of dig a little bit deeper, I should say, in their analysis of what's actually happening right now and what our obligation is and what leadership, frankly, we can all provide in the absence of other leadership, right?
I think that's right. I think the first thing that anybody who's listening to this can do is just be more kind, to other people. Like the world needs that right now. I think that's something that we can all do. It's free, it's cheap, and honestly, it gives more to the giver than the receiver. So you'll never end up on the wrong side of that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. H, thanks for your thoughts. I thought
Yeah.
we'd spend a couple minutes addressing that. And today I think what we want to talk about is this shift to digital, right? And I've got a number of questions to get you to react to here. But with everything going on, right? This was the weekend, at least in California and many parts of the
Mhm.
country, when things were going to open up again, right? Shops were going to be open for the first time, and there's a seemingly never-ending cycle of things that are happening. But we've talked to a lot of agents, right, who have shared with us stories, anecdotes about how this shift to digital has been tremendously empowering, successful. They get their time back, right? So, AJ, as people wrestle with sort of reopening and maybe a sort of an inherent pull to what they used to do versus what's happening, and maybe some conflict in that, is the world really changing? Talk a little bit about what your perspectives, what you think is happening, and what agents should be doing right now.
Well, I think the first thing to keep in mind is that whatever you believe in terms of the country reopening, understand that not everybody is going to act in lockstep here, right? So this is not a monolithic thing where the government says that the country is reopened for business and everybody's going to go. You're going to have a lot of groups who I think wisely choose to be very careful about how they leave the house, right? So whether they're groups with immune deficiencies or folks who are elderly in nature who are statistically more probable falling ill and having severe problems related to COVID and coronavirus. I think you're gonna see that this restart is gonna happen in fits and starts. So what that means is that I think some people are ready to say, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna get back to normal. We're gonna do it the way that we always did it." I would strongly discourage you from thinking that way. There's still a lot of room to go in terms of from here to vaccine and the level of carefulness that people are going to take with their own health and that of people around them. And so things are not going to just return and snap back to normal. And that's number one. Number two, why not take this opportunity to improve the way that you do your business? Why not use this as your forcing function? The thing that really gets you to amp up your business into doing it the right way. That's the opportunity. Randy, you've been interviewing people who've been doing this successfully. The models are out there, and the tools are increasingly out there to do it.
I
So do it.
100%. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead, AJ.
No, yeah, that's my message. Just go do it. And, whatever fears and inhibitions you have about using video conferencing technologies and work from remote technologies and setting up your home office so that it is a more permanent fixture of your life as opposed
Yes.
to, your makeshift breakfast table office, whatever
Yes.
that is, like get into the mode, get into that thinking and figure out your routines. This is going to provide advantages for agents who figure out how to use this technology because they'll be more productive and they'll be able to address the needs of a broader set um, of consumers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we do on the show naturally, AJ, is we talk to a lot of top agents, right?
Mhm.
We want them to be able to come and give their leadership and advice, right, for all of our agents out there, inspiring top agents. And Mary Maloney, we've talked about this a couple times because it's such a great example. She's actually coming back on the show this week, and so you guys are going to learn more from her. But
She was great.
she was great, right?
Yeah,
And
she was.
Mary, just as a reminder to all of you who didn't see this, she did 2 weeks ago, she did 3 listing presentations back to back to back, all on Zoom, 30 minutes each, and she closed all the deals. And that was an hour and a half. And she said, why would we ever do this any other way, right?
Mhm.
And so, what you need to understand if you're watching is that the best agents out there have already made this shift. They're already doing it and they're seeing the benefits for their own personal lives And frankly, the example that she gave was, what was it, AJ? It was the cut up lettuce, right? You can buy a head of lettuce for 80 cents, whatever. You could buy the bag of lettuce that's already cut up and ready to go for a salad for $3. And it's a matter of convenience, and that consumers are going to seek convenience, and this is such a convenient way to do business. So I just thought that was interesting, AJ.
Here's one thing that I would say, just and by the way, we have no financial ties to this company, but I would suggest that if you're listing a property this week and you haven't done it before, the first thing you should do for yourself is go get a Matterport.
Yes.
And by the way, they're not that expensive. I think we are working on some partnerships where you can actually order that through the ListReports platform. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. But regardless, go get a Matterport done. If you are really budget sensitive, I think Matterport just released a beta software where you can actually take your own iPhone or Android device and actually go through the house and scan it. It's pretty good quality.
It's pretty good, AJ. I
Yeah,
saw it too. It's not
yeah,
bad.
it's great. So do that. It transforms the process of buying a home. That's number one. The second one, and we do have a financial interest in the second one, but only because we're such huge fans of this technology. Go get a pad styler done. Go get your house virtually staged. Um, the statistics, and we just keep reading these, Randy. Jennifer
Yes.
Dubois on our team just posted something this morning about how transformational virtual staging and staging is in terms of how consumers look to buy a home, right? And so, spending the $100 or $200 to get really high quality virtual staging done, that's super helpful. It allows somebody sitting from the comfort of their home to reimagine a house in a different way. So these are things you could do today. They don't cost a lot of money. They're going to boost your ability to sell a home. They even help the buyer's agent, honestly, in helping the buyer's agent help the buyer understand and visualize the home a different way. So I think you're missing out if you're not even using some of these technologies beyond the video conferencing. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, you know, it's a great it's still a great time for action, right? It's still a great time to move and to adopt these new tools, these new technologies. And we've covered a lot of this stuff on this show. One of the things that I'm going to be doing, and if you're watching this far, if you're still with AJ and I at this point on a Monday,
What are you doing? Is the
what are you
question.
doing exactly?
Right.
Comment please, right? One of the things that we're going to do this Friday for the first time is I'm going to do a tech review. I'm going to show you a $100 piece of equipment that will transform the way that you do video, and we're going to do more of that stuff. So AJ, I'm glad you brought up the mobile Matterport, because now it's in the palm of your hands, right? I think there's a lot of people who think of
Right.
Matterport as a multi-$1,000 investment or a very expensive proposition, and now you can literally take your iPhone or your Android and you can
Mhm.
do it, and the quality is pretty good, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were looking. One of our employees at List Reports actually did the Matterport with the iPhone, and I've seen personally hundreds of these Matterports with the high end camera. You couldn't really tell the
No,
difference,
you couldn't.
honestly. I mean, if you don't have a trained eye, it would have just looked like you were there using one of those trained, I mean, those professional cameras. So I think it's really good enough, and the technology is only going to get better. I won't get into the geekiness of it, but iPhone's coming out with some new technology later this year. Apple is
Introduce
for their new
LiDAR. It's
iPhone.
okay. We want to move
Yeah,
everybody along. So, what's LiDAR, AJ?
lidar is, so they actually have incorporated in their latest iPads, but you know, Apple is really big fans of this idea of augmented reality, the idea that you can put a digital object in a physical space and it can feel like it's there. So they've been working on this technology amongst others for a while, and so they actually built in this thing called lidar. And if you've ever heard of it, you've probably heard about it in the context of autonomous vehicles, where they're using lidar, like on Waymo, which is a Google company, uh, where they use this to get very precise measurements of the surrounding area, millimeter or centimeter, accuracy. So you
Amazing.
walk around with your iPhone in the future, later this year, I think. And as you walk around, it's making extremely precise calculations about the nature of the walls, the nature of the surfaces around you, and so it can map all of that out to a level of precision we've really never seen before, all from the palm of your hand, right? So these things are just going to completely transform the expectations of a consumer. So these technologies,
Yes.
certainly Matterport, Pad Styler, which we're big fans of, they're out there today. And we're thinking a lot actually about how we can enhance and use some of these technologies and make them more available to all of you, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. You walk around a house, and not only do you have sort of a Matterport like experience, but you have the floor plan, right? All of these things
Yeah.
that people are so interested in that largely aren't available unless you have a builder plan. It's pretty cool.
Well, if you're a serious home buyer, right, this stuff matters. What piece of information could I tell you about a house if you're a serious home buyer that you wouldn't want to have, right?
Yeah.
Just in case it makes the difference between whether you want this house or not, or it's going to be a problem in 5 years if you didn't know about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of these things. So I think you know again, we want to create not just principles of the future is here and go do something sort of esoteric about it. These are things that you can do today, right?
Yes.
And I also just want to put another plug in for our free technology, List Reports Live.
Yes.
It's just a video conferencing solution. We've incorporated some things that we think make it cooler than Zoom for you because you can put your own personal branding on there and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. We also have a virtual open house solution that is in beta. You can put your name in the queue under List Reports Live. There's a place for you to add your name to the queue, and we'll get to you, and you can start doing virtual open houses through the platform. Our virtual open houses, if I don't
You do
say so
say so
myself,
yourself.
yeah, shameless plug. I think they're the best in the industry. They're
They're the
not
best
you
we've seen for
walking
sure.
around a house with a weak internet connection. They're actually robust ways to share information and get registration information from consumers that can turn into nice lead forms for you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So all
So
that's there now,
that's
and
right.
I encourage people to try it out. Oh, and
Absolutely. Oh
we
yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
good CS team as well, right? So
Yes.
if you need help and if you need advice on how to use this stuff, um, Erin McDaniel, who's been on the show, hasn't she?
Not yet, but
Oh, okay,
Sophie, one of her team,
that's right.
has been on
Sophie
the
has.
show. Aaron
Sophie's
will
on
be
the
on one
team,
of these days. Yep.
but you'll see her on Facebook all the time. She's doing
Yeah.
posts. Her and her team are very much in the interest of trying to help you figure out how to use these technologies as well. So
Absolutely. Right.
don't be
So
afraid. Yeah,
no excuses, right?
yeah,
We've got the tools available, they're accessible, we've got the
yeah.
team to support you and help you out. Again, I'm going to start mixing in a couple sort of tech reviews, and maybe we'll cover the Matterport mobile thing. That would be a good episode, wouldn't it?
Hmm.
So if there's anything that you want to see, comment, let us know what that is, and we'll make sure that we cover that in a future episode. AJ, this is great. I like starting off Mondays with you. I like starting off every day with you, but Mondays in particular, we get a chance to talk to our agents and sort of set up the week and make sure that their mindset is framed in the right way, which is make sure that you're trying these. Just try them. I found an app, AJ. It's a simple free app that allows you to record out of multiple cameras on your phone, if your phone has multiple cameras at the same time. And it's
Hmm.
kind of nice because if you're doing a walk around or something, you can get your forward facing and your rear facing at the same time. And it's honestly, it's pretty handy. So I'm going to cover that one as well in a future tech review. But there's a lot of cool stuff out there that you can just try at home, frankly, and figure it out.
Yeah, Randy, what do you say? I know you're the one who usually asks the questions, but what do you say to somebody who's just very afraid of new technology?
Well, a couple things. So I don't know if this will sink in, but the first thing that I will say is that everybody who has been pushed, forced, coerced to try it says that wasn't that bad. It wasn't that hard, right? I can guarantee all of you listening that the idea of it is a lot scarier than the reality of these things. And second, as AJ, as you said, right, we're here to help you, right? We're here to engage you on Facebook, on email, whatever you need, right? We're here to help you figure these things out, right? We're here to help give you the walkthroughs on the show, and we're also trying to build things that are super easy to use. So, as with this show, AJ, right? As doing this show, because we've talked about this, this is not really our thing, right?
Yeah.
Is it took, in this case, it took 5 years of this business, right, and a pandemic for us to start
Yes.
marketing ourselves. But that was the push into the pool. And every guest that I have on who's like, I don't know if I can talk on these things, right? Afterwards, they're like, that wasn't that bad. That really
Yeah.
wasn't that bad. So it's a lot easier than you think it is. And you can find small ways. This app that I'll show you guys I don't even have the name of it. I'll show you guys this week. This app, you just push a button and you're good. I think the Matterport app, AJ, you just basically push a button and like do this around a room, right? Like, anyways,
That's right. Yeah, you can start with your own home actually on that one. There's no consequences to just trying it
not
out.
at all.
The one thing I'd add, Randy, just as you were talking that I'm reminded of, is how many comments we get from um, technophobic agents who tell us, thank you, because using your technology, I felt empowered
Yes.
first time around technology. And I think that there is a sense of empowerment. Like you're not constrained in terms of the things that you can do when you overcome your fears of these technologies. And you know in your heart of hearts that it's not as hard as it looks.
Yes.
And even if it is, it's worth doing and
Yes.
accomplishing because on the other end, you're going to feel more accomplished and empowered, and that's a great feeling.
It's a great
And in
feeling.
a time like this, when we're all looking for ways to sort of pick ourselves up, what a great time to just you can do this stuff from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah. It feels magic. Last point I'll make on this, because
Yeah,
Friday's episode, I'm gonna reveal this cool $100 toy for you for your video. And I'm telling you, you literally hold this thing and you walk up to your house and you see the video quality and you're like, this looks like a movie, right?
yeah,
And you're like, is this all they're doing? And honestly, that's all they're doing. They're just doing it with bigger cameras. It's the
wow,
exact same principles and it's dead simple and it looks magical. AJ, I sent you a drone video on
I
Friday,
know,
right?
I saw it.
All I
Yeah,
did was fly it up and down. I have no
yeah.
idea what I'm doing and I pushed
No.
record and it's amazing, right?
It was. I was like, when I look at those things, I was like, how do people not lose them? Because it's the remote controls and so on. But yeah, no, the quality of the video was just pretty awesome. So
Incredible, right?
yeah,
So maybe
yeah,
we'll cover some drone stuff in this because obviously it's very relevant to real estate.
yeah,
So maybe we'll do a couple drone videos as well.
yeah, it's
Anyways,
fun.
all right, Age. Well, why don't we wrap up for today? Thanks for coming on. Any parting words? If not, we can wrap today's show.
Um, no, no, nothing beyond what I think we've said.
Yeah,
What we always don't want to be luxury, but we're such huge fans of this community, and we want the best for you. So to
absolutely.
everything and everybody, please be safe.
Yes.
Keep your chin up,
Yeah,
and we'll see you soon.
that sounds great. Great way to wrap the show. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.